What a damn football game. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Panthers 34-31. First of all, before I even say anything, to everybody all week that was talking about the Panthers shouldn't be here, we shouldn't have no 8 and 9 team in the playoffs. Look, the Panthers came out, and if you watched them play against the Rams the first time, you already knew they were going to have a similar result to this. This game did start off a bit rough for them. I think they went down 14-0, and then they basically locked in. This was a great game between two great teams. The Panthers are better than, I've said this all season. I didn't pick the Panthers to win this game because I didn't think they were going to beat the Rams twice. But the Panthers are way better than their record would suggest. That's literally the story of the NFC South. A lot of these, pretty much every team in NFC South are way better than their record. You will look at their record and you'll be like, oh, these are all bad teams. But these are teams that they have rosters that are literally better than their record. But for some reason, they just couldn't put it together when they really needed to. Before we get too deep in this game, if you enjoy NFL/football content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. As I listen, if you like football, I'm sure you'll love this channel. We don't discriminate. We don't talk about the most popular teams all the time. We'll talk about that team that you feel like nobody talks about. We'll talk about my favorite team. We'll talk about your favorite team. We'll talk about games that maybe nobody watched but us. But I just like to create an environment of people who love football. And if you love football, you'll like this channel. Let's talk about this game, man, because it was crazy. Puka Nacua starts off this game. He is very hot. He is catching everything thrown his way. Matthew Stafford is basically carving up that Panthers defense. And I think their biggest issue in the first half was that they just could not generate pressure. They go for it in the first half. I think it was that first drive. They go for it on fourth. They don't get it. But they just could not generate pressure first half towards Matthew Stafford. He had all the time in the world, and he was making them pay. He really was making them pay. And then the Panthers thing started to kind of swing in this way. You're looking at this game and you're like, bro, nothing is going right for the Panthers. They have the muff punt by ETN. Brother, you can't be muffing punts in the playoffs. They have that muff punt. And at that point, you're like, oh man, this is about to get rough. The Rams don't score on that drive. The Panthers get the ball back, and Bryce Young, brother, take a bow. Bryce Young has been a quarterback that a lot of discussion has happened around because it feels like a lot of people feel he hasn't met his potential. He had a lot of potential. Like, the thing is, his draft stock was really weird, where a lot of people was like, oh, he was great at Alabama. But some people just didn't really believe in him. And he had that period where he got benched. And then he goes into, Bryce Young is really inconsistent, right? He'll have games where you're like, Bryce, what are you doing? But then he'll have games against like the Falcons, and you're like, is it just the Falcons? No, today he proved he can have great games against other teams. He came out, he was slicing and dicing that Rams defense. And I'm worried about the Rams. Yes, they won this game. And I think it showed that, offensively, Matthew Stafford had a rough second half, but when they really needed him to make those throws, he was able to make those throws. I don't love, look, before I make this point that I was originally going to make, I hate prevent defense. Prevent defense literally never ever helps in NFL. There's no situation where prevent defense helps, because all a quarterback does, he takes those under routes. He throws for like 10 or 15 yards. And I thought, if you're going to play prevent defense, you can't play it as early as Carolina was playing it. They still had more than 2 minutes on the clock. The Rams still had all 3 timeouts. And you're basically giving them 10 to 15 yard chunks every play. What did you think was going to happen? So I thought they went prevent a bit too early. To me, you go prevent when it's like 30 seconds left. And you're like, I don't want to get beat over the top. And in this situation, you have to trust your defense. Your defense have been playing extremely well. Mike Jackson has been having a day. He essentially shut down Devontae Adams, which is not an easy task. He was having himself a day. He was all over the field. He got that interception when they really needed it. So you have to trust your defense that had played well all game. And to me, that seemed like a play call where it's like, I don't really trust my defense here, so we're going to play prevent. Going back to my original point, Coker, and Coker was Randy Moss. He was catching everything coming his way. He was going absolutely crazy. Bryce Young was feeding him that ball. He was like, oh man. And I thought first half that the Panthers could have ran the ball a bit more. I felt like their offense was really one-dimensional in the first half, but then they end the half, and I'm like, how is this happening? How is this team still in this game? I think going into the half, they were down like 3 points or something like that. And I was like, bro, what is going on with the Rams? The Rams just could not. I think it was what really was killing the Rams was, first of all, I don't trust their secondary. I think their secondary is very suspect. And two, they could not convert on third down. That was their biggest Achilles heel in this game, is the Rams really couldn't convert on third down. They were struggling the entire game to convert on third down. They were giving the Panthers way too many chances to come back in this game. And then the second half, they start to get pressure. It was only a matter of time. They start to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. He goes, I believe, his longest streak in a while of not completing a pass. He was stuck at like 10 completions for so long. He cannot complete a pass. That pressure was getting to him. He says, I'm pretty sure something is wrong with his hand. He says, or at least they were like saying he was fine, but I'm pretty sure that something happened to Matthew Stafford's hand because he never really looked right into that last drive. His timing was off on some of his throws. He just wasn't really that accurate in the second half. And I was just like, what are we doing? But, the thing is, it doesn't matter as long as you play well in the pivotal moment. And Matthew Stafford, when they really needed him in that very last drive, he played great football. This was a very winnable game for the Panthers. I think that very last drive, the Rams defense did a great job. Like I said, they had been suspect basically the entire game. That second, they were getting a lot of pressure on Bryce Young. So the defensive line had played a great game because they were making him uncomfortable the entire game. But Bryce Young was doing a great job of making those tough throws in the pressure. He was getting the ball to his receivers. Like I said, the secondary is really what was suspect. But that very last drive, when they needed to stop, if Bryce Young gets into field goal range, this game goes to overtime. J.C. Horn, brother, you got to make that catch. That is a catch that J.C. Horn is going to kick himself about. That is a catch that is very catchable. We've seen J.C. Horn make that catch in those situations, and he just didn't catch it. But I love this game, bro. The Panthers are a very weird team because I said this last week in my predictions. This is a team that for some reason plays their best football against great teams, but then they'll play their worst football against teams they're supposed to beat. And they didn't let the Rams come in and just dominate. They didn't let the Rams come in and just, because everybody had this game as like, oh, this is going to be a blowout, or this game is, I think the spread on this game was like over 10 points or something like that. But basically all week, people were just brushing this game aside as this was going to be an easy win. And the Panthers came out, they fought, their fans were there, they were loud, they were causing Matthew Stafford problems. You saw they kept having false start issues. So they were giving the Rams offensive line problems. Matthew Stafford, it was way too loud in there for him to make any audibles or anything like that. So they came and they showed out, and I'm glad they kind of proved that, like, hey, like, yes, we're 8-9, but I promise you we're better than this record. Their defense, that secondary did a great job the majority of the game. I know you see that the Rams scored 30 points, but the second half, they really, really locked in. They were getting pressure on Matthew Stafford. But yeah, when they needed it the most, it feels like I've just been glazing the Panthers this entire thing. But I think it's mostly because I think people just didn't really believe in the Panthers. And to see the underdog come in this game and put up a fight and basically be in a situation to win it, it was just fun. And I think games like this are important to great teams. And I think this is a game that was important for the Rams, right? You come in, you have this team where it seems like you should really beat them, and they give you a tough time. So now they're going to have to go and face against Seattle, who won't make the same mistakes that the Panthers did, right? And you're going to be like, okay, we made a bunch of mistakes that we probably should have lost this game, but we ended up winning. What can we do to make sure this doesn't happen to Seattle or happen to us against Seattle? So I think this is a great win for the Rams. They came and they were like, hey, listen, this is a tough, scrappy team, but we're going to put this away. And I think this is great for the future of Carolina in general. Yes, you lost this game, but and it sucks, right? You never want to come in here. You never want to come in and be the first round exit in the playoffs, especially you want the very first game, right? You don't want to be the very first game, the very first team that lose in the playoffs. But everybody doubted you. Everybody said you couldn't do it, and you came in here and gave one of the teams that people consider the Super Bowl contender a tough ass time. You were in a position to win this game. Coker, boy, take your hat off. You had a great ass game. Mike Jackson, you had a great ass game, boy. Take it. Bryce Young, they doubt you so much on the internet and in the sports world, and you came out there and you played like, God damn it, give me another contract. I think Bryce Young has played his way into another contract, and for some reason the Panthers feel like that's not true. Somebody will pick up Bryce Young because he played a great game. I wish they ran the ball a bit better in this game. I think Chuba Hubbard gave them something like 45 or 46. Defensively, I think they need to get more consistent on the pass rushing side. That secondary, it seems like it is pretty good. On the Rams side, I think Kyron Williams ran decently. Matthew Stafford just seemed like he was off. Devontae Adams seems like he was kind of off too, but he's coming back from injury, so that makes a lot of sense. But this is a great game between two great teams. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section. As always, if you enjoy NFL content, please be sure to hit subscribe. As always, if you enjoy NFL content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button as I upload NFL content weekly. And as always, if you enjoy NFL/football content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, as I'm sure you'll enjoy this channel because we talk ball all over here, from my favorite teams to your favorite teams. I don't discriminate. I just like the sport. And as always, everybody, enjoy football.